Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. Got a special guest returning to the program for the maybe 10th time or so. We got Major joining us again from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. How are you doing today, Major?
Dude, I'm doing great. It's hard not to be doing great after that.
Yeah, this is a post-game show. I haven't been doing as many post-games directly after the game, but the Miami Heat just had a historic night, which any team should have a historic night when you're playing against maybe what, 2 NBA players? Was it one that was out of the
Yeah.
league for a while
They had
and
11
Jose
players
Alvarado?
on injury.
Yeah, they had
11.
Jose
Yeah.
Alvarado and Peyton, who I don't even know if he was like in the rotation recently. I know he got picked up at like the midpoint of the season, whatever, and he started. Um, but the Miami Heat scored 153 points to 104, and this was an all-time Miami Heat record, 37 years franchise record broken tonight. 149 points was the previous record. Kashaw Johnson came in and balled out and went on a flurry is the right word, I should say. And Hawkes played great, and Highsmith played great in that fourth quarter for us to achieve this record. So the Miami Heat are probably going to be the hottest team going into the play-in next week. So we do have one more game left against the Wizards, so that game shouldn't matter. Thoughts on the game? We don't need to talk too much about the game, but just thoughts on the way they performed tonight to close out the game.
I mean, yeah. Like you mentioned, there's like not true NBA players on the court. And this helps explain to people the difference between even players having bad NBA seasons and not NBA players. Like, this explains that because the Pelicans played all very good basketball players. They're top 1% of the world, right? They're all big time college players. They're pros. They're getting paid. And then the Heat, even whenever they had their bench in and their two-way players, still just like dominated. So I think that's like a big takeaway for me, and kind of I always talk about that with people. People don't realize how good these players are. Like, these players are so good. But everything was clicking today. I mean, Bam hit 4 threes. He hit 2 semi-contested threes, like back to back, in the first quarter, I think. And I said after the first 2 possessions, I tweeted, you can go back and look. I said this game's already over. Like, it was smooth sailing from there. A lot of fun. I think 10 players in double digits. Just a lot of fun. Nothing you can really take away from this game, except for, I will say, I think it's of note, the only ones that I like really take away something from this game are shooters. And Duncan Robinson always helps when you get a bunch of good open looks. You can get your feel back. You can get your rhythm back. He had a bunch of those. And I think last I looked, he finished with 6 threes. He might have had more, but
6 for 12.
6 for 12. So all 12 of those were pretty much open to. That can actually matter going into like a play-in tournament and something. And I know that's probably what we're going to talk a little bit more about is the play-in tournament.
Yeah, it also helps when you're playing against, again, non-true NBA level players, because Duncan Robinson, even though the broader NBA will talk crap on him and think he's just a specialist, he's still an NBA player. He still is a solid rotational player. Too bad he couldn't do that against the Chicago Bulls. He did that the game before on Monday, but then on Wednesday he didn't show up, but neither did most of the Miami Heat team except for Tyler Hero. No one really else showed up in that game, and it's unfortunate because the Bulls have our number and they're 3-0 against us, and so we're officially going to be playing the Bulls. They're the 9th seed after the Hawks won tonight. They all won tonight, but they are locked in now, and the Hawks had the tiebreaker, so even if they lost and they both won the next game on Sunday, I think they had the tiebreaker over the Bulls regardless. So yeah, we're going to be playing against Chicago for the 4th time on the road in Chicago. It doesn't matter because Chicago is a better road team than a home team actually, but it doesn't matter. When they play against the Miami Heat, they just look great. Josh Giddey looks like Luka Light, in my opinion. Like, not that he's obviously not the same caliber, obviously, but he kind of has that similar game where he's like that, oversized point guard who can like kind of post up. He's a really good rebounder, really good passer. He's obviously not the scoring threat that Luka is, but when he's against the Miami Heat, he looks like Luka Doncic every time with those like
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson type triple doubles that he puts up against
Mhm.
us. So we're gonna be playing them next week. I don't know if it's Tuesday or Wednesday, but we're gonna be on the road, and the Miami Heat are gonna try to win, and they're gonna try to make the playoffs. That's been their MO forever, and we know that's been their MO because even after the 10-game losing streak, they still didn't play players like Josh Christopher and Kashad, even Terry Rozier or Jaime, right? Like you would think that they would have given up, but the Miami Heat didn't want to give up. They wanted to have a better chance to guarantee that they were the 10th seed, even though it seems like the Raptors were never going to catch us. But going into this game against the Bulls, because I don't care about the game against the Wizards, because I'm assuming now that it's officially clinched, I'm assuming Spo is not going to play Tyler and Bam. I'm assuming Kashad and everybody else is going to get opportunity to play. But what are your what's your perspective on that game on Wednesday? Do the Heat have a shot, or do you think the Bulls just literally have our number?
Well, you're right. The Bulls do think it's the 90s when they play the Miami Heat. I mean, it is incredible how well they play against us. I think some of that's matchup. Josh Giddey, I think people are starting to realize how good of a player he was. And I was saying similar things about how good he was on OKC, but everyone thought I was crazy because Giddey needs the ball. You're not going to take the ball out of Shea's hands to give it to Giddey. And that's no disrespect to Josh Giddey. I just said how good he is. Shea's
Yeah,
MVP, right? And so people sometimes have a hard time seeing how good certain players are. So Josh Giddey is a legitimate threat. And whenever he plays the Heat, like I said, he just takes it to the next level, like you were saying. Um, just everything clicking. So I think the Heat do have a shot. I mean, like you said, they're 3-0 against us. Last game was a blowout. The other two, the Heat actually had double-digit leads in the fourth quarter and had huge collapses in both fourth quarters. So it doesn't matter. You still lost the game, but it's not like every game was a blowout from start to finish. The Heat were in very big control in two of those three, and blew those. I think they're very much able to win that game. They're very much able to beat Orlando or Atlanta, whoever they play. Um, this is a play-in tournament where there's no clear favorites. Any team could go 0-2, so Orlando and the Hawks can both go 0-2. Then any team can go 2-0, and the Bulls and Heat, like anyone can beat anyone. Anyone can lose to anyone in this four-team play-in, which I think is honestly good for the NBA and people are going to be watching it. But I think it's hard to be super confident for the Heat. I'm also not pessimistic about it, and we joke I'm not a pessimistic guy anyways, but I'm pretty optimistic. But you have to like the Heat's chances, even considering how they've been dominated by the Bulls in fourth quarter as well as the game.
yeah. So, what do you think that he can do to slow down the Bulls in transition? Because they play with a ton of pace, and obviously a really good fast break team. Like, do we start Davion? Do we just say like put the best five on because now it's a do or die situation? Because obviously he's our best point of attack defender, one of our top three defenders on the team. Do you think he'll start in that game? Like, what do you think that he can do, like from an X's and O standpoint, defensively to help win this game?
I think defensively, it's more about controlling the pace. The Bulls want to run. The Heat famously are not a very big pace team. So I think if they can control the pace, control fast breaks, some of that is offense too. You can't be taking threes that then transition into the Bulls' easy transition. You can't have turnovers. So that I think is actually a big part of the defense. Once the Heat are able to set their defense up, I think they'll be able to slow them down. That's been the trouble in fourth quarters as well as last game. It was just a run out, and the Heat aren't going to run with teams. I mean, not saying they're like slow and can't run. It's just it doesn't fit their players better. Um, I would think Davion would get maybe not start, but get a lot of minutes. Just kind of maybe look for Highsmith too. Just kind of put some of those guys to muck it up and make it a little bit dirtier. Slow the tempo down a little bit. Davion, I think, can do that. Kyle Anderson might be a guy that you throw out there too. He's been playing very good as of late. I mean, ever since the Heat got him, he's just a very sound player. I like Kyle Anderson. But his natural game, he plays good defense, but his natural game too is patience. He's not going to have a lot of turnovers to then kickstart that offense and compromise the defense. He's also going to be able to slow the game down. He can get his bucket on the offensive end, which making shots helps slows down the other team's offense. So I think it's a trickle down effect to all of it, right? You can focus on the defense, but if your offense is having a bunch of turnovers, it doesn't matter what you try to set up on the defensive end if you can never set it up, right? But for as far as specific players, I mean, I would put Davion out there. I would put Highsmith out there and minutes and constantly change stuff up. The Bulls have had their number, so you can't play the same thing over and over and over again. Change things up a little bit, maybe even a little bit of throw out some zone, change some matchups for Giddey. You know, if it comes down to it, depending on how the game's going, do you put Bam on Giddey if Giddey's having another one of his incredible games? Like, is that something you throw out for a playoff setting and be like, Bam, you're the best defender in the world. Go shut down their offensive engine. Like, I could see that being a thing. You take out Giddey, then it's like, is Kobe White going to beat you? Tar Heel legend, big UNC fan. But if I'm taking the bet of Kobe White beating Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and Eric Spoelstra, I'm taking that every single time, right? So I would take that, eliminate everyone else, and let Kobe try to go to work versus Giddey getting everyone involved, and then their whole team's in a rhythm. So I think there's several different strategies, and it also kind of just depends on the game state and how it's going. He are fine with dirty games. They just scored 153, but they thrive in the dirty. They thrive in the ugly, right? And I've been the loudest voice of this on Heat Twitter. I firmly believe their ability to win games ugly and survive seasons that are so ugly and so painful to watch, even sometimes as a fan, is some of the reason they have success in the play-in tournament and playoffs. That could be their strategy once again. They don't have Jimmy; it's a little bit different, but hey, we still got some dogs, and we'll still win ugly. It doesn't matter how you win, as long as you win.
Yeah, but to counter that, so the zone, Billy Donovan is known for countering the zone. So like they did that on
Yeah,
Wednesday specifically. So that's one issue. The other piece is like the Heat traditionally have been good winning in different ways, but that's the opposite of this season. They found different ways to lose. And I forgot their total record in terms of clutch games, but they're one of the worst teams in clutch
they
games
lost
this season.
16 within 5 points. I do like that point. They have found ways to lose,
And they're
but
not as clutch as they used to be.
yeah,
They like 2 seasons ago, like they won the most clutch games, and like
yeah,
that helped them obviously, and they were more resilient, and they like were used to like blowing leads, but not losing all of those games like they did at the same
yeah.
rate this season. So it's gonna be tough. And the only silver lining I have in general with data is the Miami Heat this season won 9 games total against teams with winning records.
Hey,
Unreal, like
gotta win
uh,
16 now, 18,
it's
I guess.
atrocious. But I mean, they won 26 games
Yeah,
against teams below 500. What's the Bulls record, Major? Do you know? I know it's not above 500, right?
I
So
know it's below. I don't know exactly. Yeah,
I will here. So the Bulls are
Th-
37 and 43. So based on that stat, the Heat are 26 and 19 against teams that
yeah,
are below 500. Not against the Bulls, though. I mean, like 3 of those losses of the 16 that I mentioned to those below 500 teams were against the Bulls. But that is a good positive thing that the Bulls are not a winning team, essentially. So maybe we have a shot when it comes to head coaching, head to head, Eric Spoelstra obviously will take him even if he's had a down year. So I still think he can draw up better schemes than
Mhm.
Billy Donovan. So we'll see what happens. But so who do you think the top 9 are in the rotation? So who do you think will play? Do you think Larson will get in there? Do you think Duncan will get in there, or is it Burks? Like, list out the 9. Do you think that will play on Wednesday? I believe.
So let's just go for my memory's sake. Hero, Bam, Wiggins, Davion, Ware. That's 5. Easy 5. You got, in my opinion, you got to have Burks. He might start. He might start.
He probably will.
Uh, then you got to have, yeah, I think you also have to have Duncan. I'm not opposed to always having one of Duncan and Burks on the floor.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good easy 7. Then you have Kyle Anderson, who I would probably put 8, unless I'm just completely forgetting someone. And then you have Highsmith, like I said, that I wouldn't be surprised if he gets spot minutes. Jovic obviously would play if he was healthy. Larson, same. I would play him if he's healthy. But maybe if Larson's healthy,
That's
I
9 then right there, I
yeah,
guess.
that's 9.
I'm
But
with you on all 9 so far. So
I could play all them, but I think a lot of them, like Larson, if Larson never got hurt, he would be in it. And honestly, Burks might have never fully got a chance. He might have been that spot minute type guy, but never think. I don't think Larson's going to play. He's been out for a little bit. They get good rhythm with Burks there, and I think Duncan. You got to play Duncan at least a little bit. Throw him out there to see if he hits some shots.
yeah, I agree with that. I think you got to go Anderson for the veteran presence off the bench, the
Mm-hmm.
defense. Haywood, obviously, for the defense, especially because Larson's hurt. I think he might have leapfrogged Haywood, perhaps.
He would.
Assuming Anderson kind of takes over Haywood's spot as like that small forward, power forward. Um, I think that makes the most sense too. I think you see who's hot between Burks and Duncan, and you
Mhm.
you split the minutes, give them like 12, 15 minutes each. And then again, depending on the outcome of the game, I guess, like if you need Haywood to come in, maybe you give him more time. But I feel like Spo trusts the newbies more and is probably going to get more minutes than Haywood even, I think. So
Like Haywood, he's kind of the back end guy that he might not get any minutes, but depending on the game flow, he's that guy that, like I was kind of saying earlier, if you just need to put out some guys to slow down, play defense, he would then get it. Um, but in other game states, he might not get any minutes at all. But Kyle Anderson, Spo loves Kyle Anderson. I think that's kind of obvious now. There's really no reason not to play him. He also he's not like a big, but he's not like another small guard. He's physical and stuff. So I think he'll definitely get minutes.
good rebounder too.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your prediction for the game?
Like score or
Winner.
Heat win.
Heat win
I
in Chicago?
I think Heat win in Chicago, and then I think the Heat go down and beat Orlando.
So you're saying they make the playoffs?
I think they do. I did not think they would earlier, and I have fully changed my mind. I think it's not only about them; it's the indictment of the other teams in the play-in. And I think Atlanta gets the 7, Heat get the 8.
Gotcha. Last piece. Do you want them to win?
Yes.
Okay, so you do. So meaning you understand the
Yeah.
you understand the undertone. So because the ramifications. So if the Heat make the playoffs, they get one pick only, right? And so half of Heat Nation, maybe not half, maybe like of real Heat fans, I would say maybe it's probably like 35% probably want
That's
them,
probably a good number.
right? And then like if it's Heat Twitter, it's like the flip side. It's like because
$80.
Heat Twitter is probably like 70% want them to lose, right?
Yeah.
And want them to tank and all that stuff. But like you and I, real Heat fans, I want more Heat basketball. I want playoffs. I want the team to get experience. I want Kalower. I want Pelle Larson. I want whoever to get exposure, even though if they play against the Cavs, and should lose, possibly in 5 or 6. I don't think they'll get swept. And if any team could pull off crazy upsets, it could be the Heat. If it was against the Celtics, if the Celtics were the number 1 seed, or if the Heat somehow got to the 7th seed somehow, and it was against the Celtics, then I would have no faith. I would be like, okay, Celtics in 5,
Hmm.
probably, right?
I'm
Like
saying,
the most insane would be like the Heat lose in 6 somehow, which like everything would have to go right. They would have to have like some sort of injury. But against the Cavs, I don't trust that lineup and franchise compared to the Boston Celtics. Um, but yeah, so you're in the pool that says let's get 1 pick so that the lottery picks in the future are protected. Because I always say this team, as bad as they were, and there's different reasons why they were bad, like the Jimmy distraction, some injuries, adding new players to the lineup, after the trade. Like there's a lot of turmoil. Spo not coaching the best. Um, we're effectively, if we don't get a Kevin Durant or some other superstar via trade,
mhm,
or get a really good draft pick or 2 picks, essentially, if we don't make the playoffs, we're running it back essentially with the same core. And like, they're still a mediocre average team, right? And like, if we have one single injury to a Wiggins, a Bam, a Hero early on in the season where they're missing 30, 40 games, if any of those
yeah,
guys have missed 30, 40 games, we're not the 10th seed. We're most likely going to be the 12th seed, right?
yeah,
Like, I don't think they're going to be as bad necessarily next year because you never know. Every season's different and crazy, and there's other injuries that can happen in trades in the landscape of the East where maybe this Heat team could somehow be maybe 5th or 6th at best, but they could also be a little bit worse, especially if there's injuries. And if next season, let's say we don't make the playoffs, we get those 2 picks, or let's say we make the playoffs, excuse me, and we only get say yeah we make the if we don't make the playoffs, actually the we get 2 picks, that's fine, but then those lottery picks are unprotected. And if we have that injury next season and we're the 13th seed or the 14th seed, then instead of getting a guaranteed top 5 pick, it goes to the Thunder, which would be so detrimental, right? Like, how sad would that be? That would be the biggest pill to swallow,
terrible.
right? Like,
Yeah,
I'd rather just get 1 pick from the Warriors, get some experience, and then have those picks protected in case we don't make any moves or if we suck even worse next year. And if we suck for 1 year, then that's fine because Terry's off the books, Duncan's off the books. We have more
you can
cap
kind of have a
space.
reset.
Yeah, it's just so I agree with you on that. I want the Heat to win as well.
I also I know, getting good players through the draft is a great thing. We got Dwayne Wade through the draft, uh, etc. A lot of people, but I don't understand wanting your team and rooting for ping pong balls. I don't get it. I will always judge people that care more about the lottery than making the playoffs. I do not understand for the life of me why people want it. Now, does that mean if they don't make the playoffs, I'm disappointed, I'm sad, I want them to make the playoffs? I'm not like mad in the sense of like it is what
Exactly.
it is. We'll get a lottery pick. We'll get it this year.
It's a
Um,
win-win. It's like a win-win.
yeah,
It's a
kind of.
win-win, kind of.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It
okay, fine. Like, we didn't make the playoffs, fine. We get 2 picks, that's fine. Hopefully, no one gets injured. Hopefully, we
yeah,
add another piece or something, right? Through via
exactly.
trade or whatever. Like, maybe we could trade those 2 picks now. We have more ammo to make a trade, like for a all-star caliber player that, becomes available during, I guess we have to do it off season, I guess, because after the draft, then we're
Mhm.
gonna actually pick those players. Then maybe we could still add them to a trade, but we'll see what happens. Someone could
Yeah.
request a trade after the season. You never know. So I'm with you on that. Last question. Should I go to the game?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason is I haven't gone to a Heat game on the road this season. I've seen them in Sacramento. I've seen them in Golden State. Here I live in San Francisco. So I got to see them. I've seen the Heat twice this year. I always go to a Miami game. I didn't go to one this year. There's no chance for me to go to a Miami game unless they make the playoffs and play the Cavs. So my friend just moved to Chicago 6 months
Gotta
ago.
go.
So I have a place to stay. I don't have to pay for a hotel. He's a Laker fan, unfortunately, but he is willing to go to the game. So I'll have a friend to go to the game with in Chicago. I've only been to Chicago once in my life, like 10 years ago. So why not go for a couple days? Have a place to stay. I haven't seen my friend in like 2 or 3 years. Go to the game. The only problem why I wouldn't go necessarily is because it's not a clincher. Like it still would mean they would have to win against Atlanta or not. But like, do I that? So I do. I should still go to a game, even so it's not a clincher.
Well, they're obviously going to win against the Bulls. So if you want to go to a clincher and like high stakes game, I think, like I said, I think they're going to play Orlando. You could go to in-state Florida versus Florida to see who goes to the playoffs.
I don't want to
That
do
would,
that. I gotta fly even further. Go alone. Go alone. Fly further than Chicago, and then have to like pay for the hotel. That's not the biggest incentive, but that's also like costs more. No friend, never been to Orlando. Like at least Miami's fun because like I could go to the game and then like go to the beach. I guess I can go to the beach in Orlando
go to
too.
like Disney or something.
I haven't been to Disney since I was 10. I'm gonna wait till my daughter's old enough. I live in California. Disney's like a 1 hour. Disneyland
Yeah,
World is an hour away.
yeah.
I'm sure I'll go there when I'm forced to go there. So no need. I'm not an adult Disney guy, so I don't think I would do that. This
Not
gray
really
ass
either.
beard by myself going to the game, like hanging out. No, thanks. I'm not gonna go. So anyway, all right. It looks like I'm probably gonna go to the game in Chicago. Why not? It doesn't matter if it's not a clincher. Maybe I'll just bring my
There you
luck.
go.
So
We
let's.
need some Heatles there. We need some Heatles.
All right, you want to go with me?
I can't, but I
You're not that.
would. I'm not. I don't know how far I am, but I don't
You're
think my
closer than
work
I
would
am.
appreciate if I just ditched them to go to a Heat game.
That's true. I don't start my new job till the end of the month, so I have a reason for that.
God, perfect time.
I have 5 reasons to go. We'll see.
There you go. Yeah,
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on, Major. Appreciate it. And yeah, big game next week. Let's go Heat.
let's go Heat.